If you watch YouTube videos more often than the classic Vine compilation or the clip from last week tonight, I would bet half the price of other premium wireless earbuds that you have heard an ad read for Raycon headphones, more specifically, the Raycon Everyday E25 wireless earbuds. I feel like at this point, the Everyday E25's have kind of become a staple of the YouTube community, as well as a little bit of a joke of it, but I bet that you have wondered, how do these things actually sound? Are they actually any good? Are they worth their
15%, 15%, 15%, 15% off, 15% off your order?
Well, I'm here to look at all of the claims made in a Raycon ad read and tell you, is any of it true, or are people just being paid by Ray J to say this? Hi y'all, it's Annelies, and before we get into this super in-depth review on the Raycon Everyday E25 wireless earbuds, I have 2 quick disclaimers. Make that 3 quick disclaimers, actually. Hi, I know, I'm already jumping in here to clarify something, and the first being that I wanted to emphasize the fact that not only is this a review of the Raycon Everyday E25's, and there is plenty of reviewing of the actual product, a classic tech review if you will, but this also kind of became a little bit of a commentary on the E25's and Raycon as a whole. So if you are interested in more than just the tech review, watch the whole thing all the way through. But if you're here just for the tech review part of things, if you just want to know how these headphones sound and get the heck out of there, I'm going to be putting very detailed timestamps in the description, as well as those are lined along the timeline of this video. So use those, jump around, check out the tech review, and then if you want to skedaddle, you know, just leave a thumbs up on your way out. But if you want to stick around and kind of hear more conversation about Raycon that I feel like doesn't happen as much when people talk about Raycon headphones, because unfortunately, there's more to Raycon headphones than just the technology. Please consider sticking around, and if you do, let me know in the comment section what you think about this type of review, this type of expose review, because I am really excited about it and I really like how it turned out. But we haven't even gotten to the video yet, so here's the video. One, this is not an Audio Whiz's review. This is more of like an everyday person's review of the Everyday E25's. If you were looking for those audiophile buzzwords, you were looking in the wrong place. Secondly, regardless of what the outcome of my review of these headphones is, please don't take this as me throwing shade on creators who have taken Raycon sponsorships. As a creator myself, I understand the need to pay your bills. When my favorite creators get sponsors from companies like Raycon, they get to continue doing what they love, which is making great content that I really enjoy. So I consider it a win-win. Also, from the looks of a lot of these ad reads, they feel very self-aware of the goof of a Raycon ad, so I'll just leave that there, but let's go ahead and get into these headphones. So I've watched enough Raycon ad reads to probably do my own verbatim, but I did go back and watch some videos. I got some direct quotes from different videos, and most of them actually use the same verbiage, but here's what I've got. The claims are that the Raycon Everyday E25's are stylish. They have 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing. They have a range of fun colors and patterns with no dangling wires or stems, a range of fit options, a more compact design for a more comfortable, noise-isolating fit. They're doing things differently from the way they design their products to the way they price them. Raycon prioritizes their customers' experience from start to finish. They have a free 45-day return policy. They have more bass. They sound tremendous. They're perfect for making phone calls. They're about half the price of other premium wireless earbuds. They are co-founded by musicians, emphasis on the plural of musicians, and my favorite, they are disrupting the audio electronics industry by designing premium wireless audio for half the price without compromise. Woo! That is a hefty list of claims for a pair of headphones that comes in at about $80 before tax and before your sweet, sweet YouTuber discount. After the typical 15% discount from your favorite creator, the total comes out to about $67 before tax USD. Now, for the sake of brevity, I have condensed these claims into 6 points. They claim to, 1, to be stylish, with better design and more options. 2, to have 6 hours of playtime. 3, sound amazing for phone calls or music. 4, they claim to be affordable. 5, they are premium or high quality despite the price. And 6, they're not like other girls. So I'm going to go point by point, giving you my review of each feature, comparing them to headphones I like, and giving you my score out of 5. And then I'll average out the scores at the end to give you an idea of how these earbuds stack up to the claims and if they are a worthwhile buy for you. Number 1, style and design. Okay, let's get started with the style and design of these earbuds. In regards to the overall design, I do actually like the look of them. I think the shiny or like glossy finish does give them a fancier look. I think if they were matte, maybe they wouldn't read as nice. The shape looks like a little bean, but like not in a bad way. They definitely nail the discreet design, like if that's what you're looking for a tiny, invisible in-ear earbud. For the range of fit options, you do get this collection of different in-ear silicone tips, which I mean, if you're getting a pair of headphones that have in-ear silicone tips, they typically come with various sizes to change them out for, so that way they fit your ear better. So it's not revolutionary, but good to have. As for the range of fun colors and options, I have no clue what they're talking about. Currently, the Raycon Everyday E25's come in blue, black, rose gold, red, and white. And when I purchased mine, I was able to get the limited edition platinum blue, and this is like the most unique color that I have seen from them. Otherwise, these are not fun colors. Google fun colors and you will not find any of these colors on that page. You're gonna see colors outside of the color wheel, like bright colors, neon colors, pastels, a teal, a lavender, a coral even. You're not gonna see black, red, white, or blue. Like, that's not fun. Also, patterns, I have no clue what they're talking about. Across all of their headphone selection, whether it be the E25's or any of their other headphones that they have on their website, there are no patterns that are sold. So that's just like flat out not true. So once again, weird thing to point out. Aside from the lack of actual fun colors, which Ray J, if you're watching, you can call me and I can actually tell you what fun colors are, because platinum blue, it's nice, but it's not fun. But anyway, I have 3 real design complaints. First, this case. It sucks. Oh, good lord. It is pretty. It looks nice. Wow, compact. But it is so hard to open. I have really long nails right now, and that's the only way I'm able to open this easily. Otherwise, I have struggled with this thing. In my first impressions, I talked about how hard it was to open, and I figured, oh, maybe after having it for a couple of weeks, it'll be easier to open this case. Nope. It's just gone, if anything, more frustrating. No. You definitely can't do it with one hand, and oh god. It's like trying to crack an egg with one hand. There we go. You can't really do it with one hand, and you definitely can't do it in a rush. I've sat here and stared at this case trying to like engineer some way that would make it better, and I think it's partially because the top is the same size as the bottom, so you don't really have anything to hold on to while you're opening the top. I don't know, but this needs to be better because it sucks. I hate it. And I'll get into the quality of this case later because yeah, we've got some issues here. Now, secondly, and this is more of like an aesthetic thing, but I hate the design / placement of this logo. On the black and the white pair, the logo at least makes sense. It blends into the headphone. But on the blue, red, rose gold, and even my platinum blue ones here, it sticks out like a sore thumb, and I think it just makes it look cheap. I just wish it blended in a little bit more. Beats has a similar logo, vibe, design, and I think it looks fine on their headphones. It typically blends into the colorway, or at least it complements it. The Beats logo feels like a part of the overall design of the headphone, rather than being like a sticker that is slapped on at the end of production to mark their product. The same goes for Bose, Sony, Jaybirds, and JBL. Those companies all do a really good job at incorporating their branding into the design. And then of course you've got the Apple AirPods and the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro that forego branding on their earbuds at all. And the thing is, I don't think the Raycon logo is a poorly designed logo. I just think the way that it's kind of popped on here makes these headphones look cheap. And thirdly, and this is another design thing that goes back to this little logo, but this logo, it's a button, a big button that takes up a lot of space on here. That would be prime pushing into your ear real estate space. But instead, it's a button that you can accidentally push really easily. And initially, when I first put these into my ears, I learned it was a button because I went to boop it into my ear and then realized I just started playing my music, which that's not the end of the world if you activate Siri or play your music a few seconds before you were expecting it. And honestly, after having these headphones, I have kind of like trained myself to not touch that part of the earbud anymore, but it's just, I don't know if a tap feature would have been better there. I don't know if there's a better place you could place the button so that way you can have controls on the earbuds. I'm not a fan of where it is currently, and I don't have the answers for you, Raycon, as to where you should move it, but just not there. All this being said, aside from my beef with this like stupid freaking logo here, I think it's fair to give the Raycon Everyday E25's a 3.5 out of 5 in the style and design department. It's not remarkable, but it's not bad. Number 2, battery life. Now it's time to talk battery life, and like I mentioned earlier, the Raycon Everyday E25's tout a 6-hour battery life on the earbuds, and then the case, which like any other pair of wireless headphones, this is how you charge them, has a 24-hour battery for the case. It charges using USB-C, and it also has wireless charging, which is pretty cool if you are into that. Now, I have not used these earbuds as my daily drivers. I'll get into why in a little bit, but since getting them, I have not had to charge them once. I've used them while working, editing, running, and just general existing, and so far, the battery life has been great, not even noticeable actually. Now, a good sign for me with headphones and their battery life is not even being aware of it. If I forget that they are headphones that have to be charged because the battery is so long, that is a huge A+ in my book. So for the battery category, I have to give the E25's a 5 out of 5. Number 3, sound quality. Now, I have sat multiple times with my AirPods 2nd generation, my Beats Flex, my E25's, switching between these headphones, listening to music, videos, podcasts, trying to figure out how these headphones sound different and how to explain that to you. Hoping that some audio buzzword would hit me like a truck so that way I could properly explain to you what I am hearing. These all sound different, and I think if I had to rank them, I would put my 2nd generation AirPods at the top. And then my Beats Flex and my E25's would tie for second, depending on what we're listening to. Now, in case you haven't watched my review on my Beats Flex, first of all, definitely recommend that if you haven't, but I love these headphones. Now, I know these aren't truly wireless, but I think they're amazing, and at 50 bucks, I think they're a steal. Obviously, these aren't top-of-the-line headphones, and you shouldn't be expecting that at a $50 price point, just in the same way that you should not be expecting top-of-the-line audio quality for an $80/$67 pair of headphones. In my testing, I have found that my AirPods, even though they don't have a seal thanks to the plastic design, they sound much clearer. It sounds so much more like the audio is coming straight from the source into my ear. With the E25's and the Beats Flex, they sound good, but there's just something missing. And when it comes to that missing thing with the E25's, they just sound flat. Now, one thing I do have to point out is when I am just listening to the E25's by themselves, not doing any sort of back and forth comparison, they sound good. They sound totally A-okay. I was actually totally shocked on my first impressions. I expected them to sound like absolute trash. When I first heard about these headphones through like a Raycon ad read, of course, I thought they were like a complete scam. I thought they were gonna be some like Alibaba ripoff headphones, which they're not, I don't think so. Yay, but yeah, they don't sound like trash. Anyways, about comparing headphones, when I get the AirPods and I pop these back in comparison to listening to my E25's, the AirPods of course sound much better, which I would hope so because remember, the AirPods 2nd generation come in at a cool $159 before tax USD, and if you get the wireless charging case, it's $199. So yeah, they sure as hell sound better than these $67 earbuds, or else Timmy C and I are about to be exchanging some not so nice words. Now back to the whole depending on the media thing that I mentioned about the E25's and the Beats Flex. When I was switching back and forth between my Beats Flex and the E25's, listening to some general like top 40s if you will, they sounded pretty similar. When I switched over to a podcast with very high production value, that's when I began to notice the difference. Suddenly I was starting to get like a tinny, hollow sound from the E25's, but not from the Beats Flex. I think what I have ultimately figured out is that when it's an isolated noise, like just clear voices, that's where the E25's start to lose quality. I tested the E25's with a phone call with my mom, world-renowned tech reviewer, and we both had some discoveries. I confirmed my theory with like the voices and the speaking where the E25's lose their quality with this phone call, and my mom's voice sounded the least best on the Raycons, and she let me know that the audio coming from the microphone on the Raycons sounded grainy and least best. Specifically, she said the end of my words sounded echoey. Take that as you will. So I am going to have to disagree with that whole perfect for making phone calls thing. I would say fine for making phone calls, but I know that does not sound as appealing in an ad read. To give you the TLDR of the audio quality of the Raycon Everyday E25 earbuds, when compared to other headphones, the weaknesses of the Raycon Everyday E25s shine, and there don't really seem to be any strengths. I will note that the volume on these headphones is just much louder, not necessarily in a good way, but like let's say I had the volume at the middle of the volume rocker on my phone on all my other headphones and just playing from the speaker. If I were to connect my Raycon Raycons, I would have to turn that down a lot because I did accidentally blast my eardrums a few times because I wasn't expecting how loud they were actually going to be. At the end of the day, I put the E25s at a tie for second place with my Beats Flex or a close third place, depending on what we're listening to. For that, on the sound quality rating, I give the Everyday E25s a 3 out of 5. Considering that I can get a better and more consistent audio quality with the Beats Flex for a much cheaper price, that is why I really can't justify giving the E25s a higher score here, but I still feel like a 3 out of 5 is fair. I saw a review on Raycon's website that said it pretty dang well. They are acceptable, but not exemplary. Number 4, price. Price. Let's try to nail down the price of these little earbuds here. Technically, the Everyday E25s are listed on the Raycon global website, which is the website for Raycon, as $80 USD, technically $79.99, before tax. But as I mentioned earlier, you can get that sweet 15% off discount from many of your favorite creators, knocking down the price to $67 USD before tax. Now, although this YouTube ad read deal might come off as one heck of a bargain, 15% off.
Wow, that's a lot of smackaroonies.
About 30 seconds on the Raycon website will show you that that deal is actually not that unique or even exclusive. When you go to rayconglobal.com, within about 10 seconds, a pop-up comes up on screen asking you if you want to sign up for the Raycon email list, which will give you a sweet 15% off discount. So let's just call them what they are. If you can get a coupon, no matter where you go through, no matter how you hear about Raycons, you can always get yourself a little coupon. These are $67 headphones. They are not $80. In my area after tax, that came out to about $74 USD. So now let's go ahead and look at these claims about price in the ad read. Now we are getting to the part of the Raycon ad read, or Raycon in general, that I have beef with. They're doing things differently from the way they design their products to the way they price them. The design, not unique. The Gear Icon X's, which was the predecessor to the Samsung Galaxy Buds, came out in 2018. The Bose SoundSport free earbuds came out in late 2017. From what I can find, the Raycon Everyday E25s were launched in late 2019. All these headphones, all these little earbuds have a very similar design. No wires, no stems. So not much has been done differently there. The price? Yeah, I don't really understand this one, but sure, yeah, it is different and unique to list one price on your website, although you always have a coupon code available, so that way it gives the illusion that your consumer is saving money with some sort of exclusive deal, when in reality that is the price that everybody has the opportunity to pay. Yeah, that is different and unique. They're about half the price of other premium wireless earbuds. Yes, they are about half the price, if not more, than the AirPods Pro, the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro, the Pixel Buds. However, I can also say, yeah, I bought my car at half the price of a Tesla Model S. Isn't that neat? Yes, that is true. However, that says nothing about the quality of my vehicle in comparison to the Tesla, just as saying that these are half the price. Now, the wording is very specific there. Half the price of other premium wireless earbuds. I'm gonna say it right now, these earbuds, they are not premium. They are good. I will give them that. I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're trash, because they're not. I've heard worse, but I've also heard better for less. Regardless, they are good sounding, decent headphones. However, premium is one thing they are not. They don't feel premium, they do not look premium, and they especially do not sound premium. Disrupting the audio electronics industry by designing premium wireless audio for half the price without compromise. Okay, I feel like I could make a whole video on this statement alone, and this is the one that really grinds my gears. But I feel like this is so goofy. This is goofy marketing to me. Disrupting the audio electronics industry? Really? To me, if it was disrupting the audio electronics industry, that would mean that they are shaking things up. People are trying to either emulate Raycon or take Raycon down, and nobody's trying to do that. Sorry to break it to you, Ray J, but nobody is out here going, we gotta get those dang Raycon guys. They're sweeping the market. And you know how I know that? The only time anybody has ever heard of Raycon is like a few situations. They listen to podcasts, because I believe they sponsor podcasts. They watch YouTubers. Or they are a fan of Ray J. If Raycon was disrupting the industry, they would be making radical change. But they are not. They simply aren't. They have done nothing new except become leaders in the YouTube advertising industry. Like I said, if a person isn't a part of the YouTube community, whether they maybe a creator or a viewer and they're not aware of like the sponsorship zeitgeist of like HelloFresh and ExpressVPN and NordVPN and Function of Beauty, they probably don't know who Raycon is. So that's just my experience, but more people would know about you if you were disrupting the audio electronics industry. I think that's so goofy. Like, it's so goofy. Secondly, half the price without compromise. Okay, I've been nice so far, but now I need to call y'all out. If it was premium wireless audio without compromise, I would be able to compare these to my AirPods, or at the very least, they would blow my $50 Beats out of the water, but they don't. One thing Raycon has definitely compromised on is that microphone. It does not sound good. I'll go ahead and insert an audio recording right now of me recording audio with my AirPods, with the Beats Flex, and most importantly, with the Raycon Everyday E25's, so you can hear that microphone for yourself. So this is the audio quality from the second generation AirPods. Benedict Cumberbatch nearly broke a delicate luggage rack. Alright, and this is the audio quality from the Beats Flex. Benedict Cumberbatch nearly broke a delicate luggage rack. And finally, this is the audio from the Raycon Everyday E25's. Benedict Cumberbatch nearly broke a delicate luggage rack. Now, for the record, I think the AirPods mic sounds like absolute trash, so the bar is literally on the floor and y'all couldn't even clear that. Let's talk about quality again. The quality on this case, it's very cheap. It sounds very cheap, it feels very hollow. There's a plastic that lines the top of this case that I'll show you in some clips right now that feels very thin and like it doesn't even cover the whole top. Then we move to the bottom where the earbuds sit, and this plastic is a lot harder, but the whole thing feels really hollow. Also, going back to the design, because design is part of creating a product, they definitely cut corners on that because you would have integrated this logo into the design of this product more. And with the design, I feel like when you cut corners on a design, it shows. And that is part of creating a product. So yeah, you did compromise on quite a few things with these headphones. It's the case, it's the microphone, it's the overall sound quality. There's a lot of focus on volume, but not a lot of focus on detail. The branding, and speaking of branding, when we talk about the price of these headphones, I personally feel a lot of the price comes into the marketing and the branding of these headphones. I remember when I opened up this box, I was impressed. This is a nice, there's a magnet in here, this is a nice sturdy box. I would keep this to put keepsakes in because I'm that type of person. But why is this nicer and higher quality than the headphones? This really pretty paper and the booklet on the inside, and then on top of it all, like I said, not only the box but the marketing. So much money is spent on marketing these headphones, and I feel like that's where the price markup comes in. So yeah, compromise was also put onto the price, because if the price were to be lower and maybe not as much money were to be spent on marketing and the design of this package and all this crap was so high quality, which it's nice to have high quality stuff, but like with my Beats Flex box, hold on, these headphones came in this little cheap plastic box. It will protect the thing in there. It came with a little plastic like holder for the in-ear pieces as well as the whole headphones and the charger, but this is it. Money did not go into making this a thick and sturdy box and paying YouTubers to advertise the headphones. They put the money into the product, and I feel like it is very obvious that more money went into this part of the headphone creation than the actual headphone creation. And that is my little soapbox on the price of these headphones. But with all of that being said, I am going to give the E25's a 3 out of 5 in the price category. Now, the reason for that is that these headphones are not horrible. The price isn't bad, but I don't think the quality matches up to the tremendous amount of value that they are claiming that you're getting for that price. Also, like I said, I think if they spent less money on their packaging and all this advertising that they do, the headphones would be cheaper, but then nobody would know about the headphones. Or maybe more people would know about them because they were cheaper. I don't know. You could go kind of like chicken or the egg situation with that. Hello, future/editing Annelies here. I'm gonna try to condense what I said in my original filming of this video because I was stumbling through how I feel about the price of these things because it's hard to explain. Essentially, I don't think these headphones are appropriately priced. If they were like in the $45 price range, I would say that they are more worth their price. I do not think the price of $70 to $80, whether you're getting it with a coupon or not, is fair for these headphones. I think a lot of that money is going towards the marketing and the advertising and paying Cardi B and Snoop Dogg to talk about these headphones on their Instagrams and the YouTubers and all the things. I think that's what a lot of that price of these headphones goes into. And the box and just everything about Raycon is where the price comes in. But I don't think the price represents the quality that you get in the product here. It doesn't. I keep going back to the Beats Flex, I know, but it's the thing that I have that I can compare that is closest to quality of the E25's. And I think the thing that gets me and makes me not want to recommend these headphones to anybody is that I think that those headphones, the Beats Flex, are more consistent and better quality, maybe by a few steps here or there, but they're still more consistent than the E25's, and they come in at $50 versus the $68/$80 price point of the E25's. I think if these headphones were cheaper, I think I would be less angry is not the right word, that's a little too aggressive, but like angry about these headphones because I wouldn't think that the price was so much higher than what they're actually worth. They have a big markup, and like I've said a lot in this video, they are not horrible headphones. You are not getting completely scammed and ripped off by buying these. However, I think you are paying a lot more than they're worth if you choose to go with them. So that is my little spiel about the price. I don't think they are worth the money, but it doesn't mean that they are bad. I just don't think they are appropriately priced. If they were 45 bucks, I would say that would be fair. But that's not what we're talking about. That's not what they are. They're $68/$80, and that I just don't think is fair. Yeah, pricing things is hard, not my forte, and that is exactly why I am not in the market of pricing things. I am in the market of talking about things and sharing my opinions on them, and these are my thoughts on the price of the E25's. Back to the video. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know, man. I don't know. And that does it for part one of this two-part video. I know, a two-part video, you weren't expecting it. You weren't expecting to see an outro this soon, unless if you were watching the timeline of this video. But anyway, when I was editing this original video and realized that it had come out to 45 minutes long, yes, 45 minutes, I realized that would be something that most people might not want to commit to for a review/commentary of the Raycon Everyday E25's. And I felt that 2 videos under 30 minutes might be a little bit more palatable, might be something easier to commit to, so thus my first 2-part video was born. Now don't worry, you don't have to wait too long for part 2 because that is scheduled to come out a couple of days after this video goes live, but when part 2 is live for you, it will be linked as the top link in the description of this video, so make sure to check the description before you leave this video, just in case it's already out, so that way you don't miss it. But of course, if you're catching this video early, make sure you subscribe to my channel, make sure you turn on post notifications so that way when part 2 comes out, you will be one of the first people notified, and that way you can hear my wrap-up of this review/commentary of the Raycon Everyday E25's. I'll talk about chapters, if you will, 5 and 6, which are quality and comfort, and then my personal favorite, the I'm not like other girls category, of course with doing a complete wrap up and letting y'all know what I really think of these headphones and if I think they are worth your money. Something that was easy about this video is that it being in the chapter format, it was actually really easy to split, so part 2 literally picks right up where this video left off. I didn't cut anything. So once part 2 comes out, you can get the final results of how this review went, and I hope y'all really enjoy it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment down below about what you think so far about the Raycon Everyday E25's or this like 2-parter commentary style review. And of course, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and check out all the links in the description, including my Patreon. It's always down there. You know where to find it. But otherwise, that is it for me. Stay beautiful, have a marvelous day, and I will see y'all in part 2. Bye!